What's up, y'all? Barefoot Bruisers. Yeah, it's gonna be like a sitting and bullshitting kind of more Sunday. Couple things on my mind, or been on my mind. So I talked to Steve earlier this week. I don't know why it is for me, but like, I don't know if y'all have seen that Dwayne Dwyer is now getting authorizing a Chinese name produced for a BBM, a BBML, I don't know, whatever. I get confused. Basically, you know, a Strider that's now Chinese produced. And, you know, all the Strider guys said never made in China. So it's kind of odd to me that he would, you know, start making or getting some of his knives made, license his designs, or however the case may be, to China. And I know I don't really want to make this a Chinese versus American kind of debate, but just for me, like, it kind of ruins collecting Dwyers for me. And I don't know why it is for like that, but like, it's not like as bad as the Hoback situation, because it's not like he's lying about where they're produced. They're open about where they're produced. I guess it's just like, for me personally, like a custom maker should just make custom knives. If they're gonna do a model as production, just do a production model. Just make it a whole separate model. Taking a knife that's a custom and make it a production, just, I don't know, it ruins the model and kind of sort of the maker for me a little bit. I gotta be honest, and I kind of wonder why. Steve and I had a brief conversation Friday. We're like a similar schedule but different times kind of thing. Like, we're both busy all the time pretty much. Like, his is all the there today, and mine's pretty much workload, which can be morning and evening, but mostly like toward the evening, and he's different time zones. So like, having a time where we can get together and bullshit sometimes hard. But we end up catching up Friday evening or Friday afternoon for me, probably evening for him. It's just one of those things, like, why did Dwayne do this now? Like, the only thing I can figure is like, he's probably getting to retirement age and just needs to cash the cow, more or less. He needs some money coming in, which I can completely understand that half of it. You know, like, if you've done this 25, 30 years, however long he's done it, and then now you're sitting on a design that, you know, you can't make what the desire or what the volume is, and you want someone else to produce a lesser version or a production version of said knife. Like, I get that, I guess, to that point, but like, I don't know, for me, like, I just use that RSK Paragon, right? So that I had a custom version of that Paragon before. Was it Vosteed? You guys that are into those knives can tell me. I think it's Vosteed produced a version of that knife, and they've got several at this point, and a couple different models too. And I've got to handle custom versions of both, and a couple others from RSK. And I'm not gonna say that he's my favorite maker, but you know, he's around, like, I would put him in the same category as Jeff Vandermeulen and that stuff. The guy's been around for a long time. He does a lot of really good stuff. He's an add to the community, so I'm not saying anything negative about the guy. It's just that once the model gets produced by China, I'm not interested in owning it anymore. And I still own a Paragon. Probably won't be for long. I'm probably gonna put it for sale pretty soon. It's at Billy's. He's gonna send it back. I think he said he was gonna mail it Saturday or maybe Monday, either way. But you know, it's just one of those things to me. It just seems to cheapen the brand and the model for me. And I wonder what you guys think, because like, when I talked to Steve, he was even thinking about selling that Dwyer he had, because he's like kind of sort of thinking the same thing. That it kind of devalues it. Like, the one he has is very specifically a custom. There's I'm not gonna say there's no way they can produce it, but there's no way they're gonna emulate the hand ground blade. It's the one that I used to own, that's chisel grind, extra thicker blade. Anyway, like, I don't think they're gonna ever go that route where they do a model that specific, because it's very unique to that particular one. So that one has some uniqueness to it, but the model itself, and that one has more of a Strider look because it was done back in the day. But his models in general, you know, like, I don't know. What do y'all think about this? Because it's just a weird thing for me. Like, once they go China, like, I'm uninterested in them. I don't know why. Like, it shouldn't be that way, because like, I understand the value of Chinese knives and why people like them and what they offer to the market. It's just not what I'm currently into. Like, I'm not gonna say I've never been into them, because I've had several. I went years without doing any, you know, at all. It's kind of like my deal with my wife, like, no Chinese knives, and she still doesn't really like them. But it's understandable. Like, it's hard to get away from Chinese manufacturing, right? And I guess there's been talk about, you know, the imports and all the tariffs and stuff going on with that. But I'm not an economist, and I'm not a political. it's out of my world. I try to not think about it. I just face value. What does it cost? What do you get for that value? And then especially with China, like how much of our, as a country, our intellect has been basically given to China or stolen or whatever you want to say, that there is no repercussions for. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna get into that anymore. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that path. It's just a thought of mine. Like, I don't know. Like, I heard somebody say that our country is like 70% consumer and 30% production kind of thing. So like, what is the average man supposed to do if you're not making money, you're not generating money for this country? Like, eventually, you know, top down wise, like if you're one of the big guys that's making all the money, like you got to want other things and it trickles down, right? But like, let's just take construction industry for example. Like when I was a kid, like a lot of people work construction, you know, especially in their teens and stuff like that. Nowadays, especially here in Tucson, like there are very few non-immigrant construction companies out there. I'm not gonna say there's none, because I definitely know a few right off the top of my head. But like as a whole, most of those people work cheaper and are more skilled coming from other countries, and then this is the easiest work to do, like landscaping, that sort of thing. Like I'm not gonna say there's not other but it's, you know, that work is generally done by other people. Because is us as a country, are we lazy, or are you know, are people lazy? Is it pride in work? Like, what is it that, I don't know. It's a whole nother debate, right? It's just funny how like certain things, and I reflect upon myself, you can hear that I'm probably going, what do you call it, flip-flopping back and forth with like pros and cons of the said situation. But I don't know, like situations like this always make me think, and I'm obviously not rigid in my stance, because I'm not a worldly person. I'm not even really that interested in what goes on in politics or any of that other stuff, because the way I look at it is like, if you really are in it and you want to change it, I guess let's go example Medford. Like, he has political connections, and you know, he's trying to convince, or maybe he isn't, but he seemingly tries to convince people that his thought process is a better thought process compared to what, but just to make fun of people, what's the point of that? Or just to agree with everything that one party does and not criticize. It's dumb to me, man. It's not a well-rounded thought to me. And then what can you change? Like, if you're not changing anything other than just spitting out your thoughts that are more or less like, probably, I'm not saying they are, but probably are recycled or rehashed bits that you've got from other people, you know, like, what are you adding to the party? So like, even at this discussion that I'm having, I'm kind of wondering that myself, like, what am I adding to this conversation? Like, probably nothing, other than the fact that I love custom knives, and I really like the one-off and the uniqueness of a custom knife. And I think once it gets to a production point of view, I'm probably not interested no matter what country it's in. But like the China part of it, like once they get a hold of that, you know, okay to run this brand, they're going to run it whether you say it's okay or not. So from now on, whether Dwayne Dwyer is producing customs or not producing customs, they got every bit of his information. If you don't think they're going to produce knives, whether it's under his brand or somebody else's brand or design or anything, you're wrong. They're going to keep doing that. They're not going to throw that. They're not throwing any of that design away. If they're selling, they're making. I guarantee it. The other thing that kind of like interests me about that is they're going for $400. So like, you know, I'm not up on what the latest and greatest and what this value knife or that value knife in the Chinese market goes for. So I could completely be off base, but I don't think I am. $400 for a Chinese knife is top tier from what I understand. Like, I don't know why you would do, because you know, you can still buy domestic for just a little bit above that. Is when really good domestic, in my opinion, my style knives, when they start coming in, like in between the $400 and $500 range and pretty much up from there. But like, that's when some of the really good production American made stuff. So if you're paying $400 for a Chinese knife, you're not just competing with Chinese value, you're competing with American value at that point. So why would you buy an American designed, Chinese produced knife for the same price that you can buy an American one, other than, you know, just sheer model, like that model connect with you? I don't see that model connecting with that many people. Like, I'm just going to take the XM for example. Like, why would you choose an XM or not choose an XM over the Dwayne Dwyer for $25 more, $50 more, whatever it is? I don't know. Like, I can't see that. All right, I'm gonna quit beating the dead horse because, like, I'm just honestly sitting here vocalizing thoughts as I'm having them. So I'm like, none of this is written down. I don't think about this stuff ahead of time, other than like, you know, I BS'd with Steve about it for a minute, and like, you know, as I'm getting kind of older and thinking about stuff like that, I could see where if you've done something for 30 years that you'd want to at least try to get something out of it, right? Like, I was a machinist for 30 years. What I did when I got done, I pretty much started working on knives. Like, I mean, I was doing knife stuff then too, but like, you know, I've started progressing more into the knives to try to use some of the skills that I've gained in 30 years to kind of keep me, I don't know, blue collar, you know, dirty hands kind of job, because honestly what I do for a living has nothing to do with what I've done for my whole life, and it felt weird, especially at first, that to not be a tradesman, to not have my hands dirty and doing stuff like that. Like, rarely do I feel like I earn my living, like physically earn it like I did as a machinist. There's some days as a machinist I come home and I would just be deadbeat tired. Like when I'd be machining turbine housings and that sort of thing, like those casts would just eat your hands up, and like you're taking, like, I think some of them were like 75 pounds, like the one used like an Abrams tank or stuff like that. Take those big turbines and loading them on lathe and stuff, like, and you got to reach in there and load it and make sure it's flat and running good, everything like that. Like that would physically take a lot of it out of you. You know, at the end of the day, you run, you know, I don't know how many of those would run a day, like close to 100 or so a day. And, you know, 12-hour shift, you wore out at the end of that day. Like, 12-hour shift for mine. I'm tired of driving, tired of the stress of driving, but like, it's more mental than it is physical. You know, I haven't ever really felt a physical day doing what I do now. But I guess that's the thing, when you get older, you do that. But I have gotten lazier, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I let my weight get away from me this winter, and eating bad foods, and I've never really corrected that habit. I need to, but I can feel it. I can feel my health not being as good. I'm all over the place in this video. Y'all, it's 12 minutes of me just spitting my thoughts. If you got thoughts, like, leave them in the comments about the whole thing. Like I said, I wasn't trying to make an American versus Chinese thing. It's, to me, more of a why the brand or the maker gets tainted for me. Like, I used the example before, I pronounced his name wrong, but Kurt American, I think is how you say his name. I love his custom work. Like, it looks so good. And then he came out with that production model of the same thing, and I was like, I immediately was like, not interested in that knife anymore. And not saying it was my style knife before, and not saying that he needs any more customers, because for what I understand, he's got a wait list anyhow. But like, I really liked his work, and then he did a production version of it, and I was like, I'm just not interested anymore. You know, I don't know. I'm gonna quit beating the dead horse. Sorry. So, last week I showed y'all the S Mini that I did for Evan, and super cool. Like, just a quick shout out for Evan, because like, I've done 7 reblades, I think 7, if my math is correct, around there anyhow, and he owns 3 of them. So huge shout out to Evan. Like, appreciate you, bro. But the other thing that I like about working with Evan is, like, when I say working with him, but like, you know, doing deals with Evan, is like, he'll give me feedback, what he likes, what he don't like, and that sort of thing. Kind of like when the Skype reblade came back and he wanted the 3-hole thing, like, I was more than happy to do it. And then as soon as I did it, I was like, yes. Like, it's been a mod since I did that one. Like, I did that 3-hole mod. Honestly, man, for a thumb hole, like, it's probably going to be mine moving forward, because it is really so comfortable. And he's the first person I set my DSKs to check out, and he liked one of them for sure. So, like, you know, moving forward, unless somebody just doesn't like the look of it, I think it's such a comfortable opening for me that I'm going to start using it more and more on my thing. And I don't know if anybody else has done that. If y'all have heard of somebody else doing that, let me know. But like, the triple hole thumb deployment seems to be my thing. And, you know, on this one, it's just that I did the ball. I don't know if you can see it in there. Is it the ball or bull? I can't remember. No, this is a bull. I did the bull on this one, and it just don't feel as good. Like, the whole time I've been messing with this one, I was like, I wish this was the triple hole. The backside then at Fuller is fine, but like the triple hole is better. But anyway, what I was trying to get at is, the only major issue I had with this one was the back spacer, where the blade was easily poked on the back. So I went ahead and made a back spacer. I was going to do it like the S Mini, where I went down the middle and kind of cut the groove out of it and that sort of thing. But as I was working it and doing it, like, I realized, let me see where the camera's at. I realized that, like, I can get that tip of the blade, but I'm really shoving my finger in there. So if you're that dumb to shove your finger down in there to try to get it bit, yeah, you can get bit. But like, I don't think accidentally wise it's gonna snag on anything. So I'm pretty happy with how that one ultimately came out. I'm still cheaper on the clip and left that RGT clip in there. You know, this RGT clip is kind of more of a, I think it was made for a paramilitary too or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But it's kind of more of an afterthought. Like, I just threw it on there because I honestly didn't feel like making one. But the longer it's been on there, the more I'm comfortable with that clip. It's super thin profile wise. Most of the clips I make are like 1/4 inch, so you know they protrude a good bit more. And honestly, I just don't feel the need to change it on this one. Like, it kind of works out. So this one overall, like, I know I've shown this like 1.5 million times, and the other blade that goes with it. But I think at this point, I think I'm gonna call this one done. And as I was alluding to before, Billy's planning on sending some stuff back, and I think, pretty sure Nick sent me tracking for some stuff that he's sending back. Paul sending some stuff back. I think I might have a couple others somewhere else. I got too many knives, dude. I can't keep track of them all, which is sad but true. And I actually forgot Billy had one until he told me. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that over there. But next week I'll probably, because you know I'm going to do the heater unboxing. Obviously that one's still burning a hole in me, and I'm dying to open it, but I'm holding out strong. I got one more week to go from today. But I'll probably do another like trade or sale kind of thing next week. I figured some people will probably have more time. Some people might have less time on Easter Sunday, but it'd be my last Sunday video on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, this is Sunday. Well, it's morning-ish, but I don't know if you hear the air conditioning in the background. It's already got hot here. It's like, I think last week when I was talking to y'all, it was like 70, beautiful outside. You know, it's been in close to 100 or over 100 here already. I think it's supposed to be mid-90s today. So, like, you know, we go from spring to summer like that. Difference is we get mornings and evenings. So we try to walk the dogs like 5:30 in the morning, that sort of thing, so it don't get too hot on them. I'm all over the place. Anyhow, I think what I was getting at before I got sidetracked there was that I think some people have more time at Easter sitting around family and that sort of thing. Other people will have family obligations and need to do family things, which is, you know, either way, like however y'all it sits for y'all. I think having the opening, and because it's the end of the 40 days too, opening it up for trading, I'm dying for it to open up for trading. I know Evan's already working a trade or having an idea for a trade deal. He's being patient and waiting for that day. But Easter Sunday, y'all got trade deals. I'm opening for business on Sunday. I'm kind of, you know, honestly, like, I haven't missed the new purchases. I missed the trades more than anything else. Like, I think I'm good with the purchases for right now, because like I have so many cool knives that I can really go and get a different variety of. Say if I'm feeling like a phosphor bronze washer day, or you know, a bigger, heavier Tanto, or you know, I got options. I got tons of options. So like I'm not hurting for any options. Obviously I like new stuff and different stuff, so like that part of it's kind of cool. But like most of my collection is still DSK. I got an overwhelming majority of DSKs. A few to go until I feel like the DSK collection is complete, but it never really probably will be. But I also find myself not really using the small DSKs. Like I will carry them on occasion, so I may part with some of those little guys. It just depends. Like I know Ev's kind of like when I let him borrow that deluxe, he was really into the deluxe. I kind of wanted to keep it because I really haven't had it that long, and that's the only one that has ever come around for me. I traded a couple nights for it, so I got a pretty good amount of money into it, even though that model's probably not worth what I traded for it. I just wanted one because I've never had one and wanted to see it, but I could kind of see that model as just on the fence of not big enough for a main carry and too big for a smaller carry or a backup carry. Not that it's too small for that. I mean, it's too large for that, but like generally speaking, I like a little bit of a smaller knife. This one here is really kind of like, overall, like size-wise, told you I was going to be a bullshit session, didn't I? And Denise encouraged me to talk as much as I wanted to today, so we'll blame Denise today, okay? So my long-windedness is because I got the okay from Denise to ramble on. Overall, size-wise of this one, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, this one has really connected with me. Like, size-wise, weight-wise, everything like that. Like, I don't know, I just really like this one. It's particular, this blade over the other blade. This blade suits me, it suits my style much, much more. I don't know what it is about it. Like, it looks funky, I get it, but like, it just does. Like, I'm kind of wishing that Eon's design was just a little bit bigger. So you may see one of these sneak in there like that size. It's definitely more my size range. excuse me, probably a little bit large for him, but I wouldn't be surprised when I go back to making again that I go to something a little bit larger than this. I have a couple ideas, and I know like Tomas even asked me if I was doing reblades, and like I haven't offered that as a public service. I'm obviously working on some friends knives because Evan's S90 or S Mini rather, I keep saying S90. S Mini was like just him and I BS a lot, especially on Instagram and that sort of thing. So like, and obviously we do a lot of buy, sell, trade together. Not together, but like, you know, working together. So consideration for people like that is obviously going to be higher, like for obvious reasons, right? I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but like if the dude's been that cool with me for that long, like I'm obviously going to work for him. Not that Tomas hasn't been, but I'm trying to like phrase this the right way. Like I got a couple from Billy, but the couple from Billy were like, so if you remember the Magnum Works that I had, it's been, I think it's called the Pantheon. It's been eons ago when I showed it, but it came to me in like just utter crap condition. And I got it for cheap enough that I was like, I'm just gonna try to fix it. I'm not worried about trying to make my money back because I didn't really pay much for it, but it was just really crappy condition when I got it. And it took a long time to kind of get it to a point where I was like decent, like what I thought, okay, it's a decent knife. But I kind of lost interest in it in that process. Billy ended up, I think I let him borrow it, or I can't remember how that situation worked, but he ended up connecting with it. So I was like, yeah, you keep that one. We'll work that out later. I can't remember what deal we worked out with it, but he ended up with a knife. Long fold, like, I don't know if he was having problems with the edge or not, but like he went to a point where he was hardness testing, and he tested this one, and it was like horrible, like in the 30s or something. It was like, it was barely even hard. Like, so I don't know if the dude tried to do it like in a forge, like a coal forge or something like that, and try to heat treat it. But either way, heat treat was horrible on that blade. So I always felt bad for it, for whatever we worked out. I don't even know how it worked out, but like I always told him like when we get going, I'll try to reblade that one. So I'm working on that one now. And the other one, it was from Billy too. I don't remember if it was this one. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it is this one. I'd got from, who did I get this from? It was an Nkosi that I got from somebody, and I can't remember who. Oh, it's killing me. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, they had already like kind of reverse tantoed the top edge on it instead of that, you know, sheep foot down on the single blade. They had reverse tantoed it for a different look. And I always thought to myself, you know, like I would rather redo that one too. So he kind of had the same opinion of trying to redo that one. The CRK is going to be, well, both of these are challenging. Here, let me just grab the Magnum Works blade because I started working on it already. When this one came to me, let me get the original blade too, so you can understand where I'm going from on this one. Where we at? 23 minutes? Who cares? I'm just going to talk. Y'all can watch or stop whenever you want. I don't care. I only grab half the Magnum Works. But anyhow, like, I'm just going to show you the blade part of it. So he had cut this, you know, groove for the hidden stop pin. The stop pin's been in it. Like the stop pin has been in there, but this is the closed stop pin when I got it. So this was removed. It was over here, but you can see where he tried to fit it and had problems fitting it for whatever reason. Ended up going to studs here, which I've fixed, and then the different stop pin back there for the closed position. So like Magnum Works itself, I can't remember the dude's name, I obviously had problems with this design and this knife. So when I got it, the first thing I had to figure out is, do I want to do the exposed, you know, stop pin thumb stud kind of thing and a stop pin back here? And I've been doing so many of those, I'm like, you know what, let's challenge myself, because the Onins wants the hidden stop pin for his too. And let me show y'all real quick. See how close that detent hole is to that. Hopefully it's showing up. Hopefully that's showing up. I can't see shit. I should probably hang on, let me get my glasses. It's pretty bad, but I can't even see the camera really. Oh, there we go. Now I can make out what I'm looking at. All right, so anyhow, you see how close the detent hole is to that track? And the track has to be a little wider than the stop pin. So if you use an 1/8 inch, which is what this one is, stop pin is set for an 1/8 inch, you have to go like say 145 thousandths, at least 10 on each side, probably a little bit wider than that actually, and cut that little groove. You see his groove looks pretty good. Like looking at it, like it looks like it's done professionally. It looks good. I've had tons of problems with my equipment, and as far as talking about mill repair yet, the mill is better, but I will not say it's good. So I'm still having issues with that, which is why I'm going to show you the blade and y'all see, because like I got it prepped. So why I chose to do this is because, like I was saying, trying to get better at the hidden stop, because I know some people like that stuff. To me, it's not my favorite. It's more of a, I don't know, not my thing. Not bruiserish, because it makes the blade so like less strong because you get that hollow point. But maybe you can, maybe you can't see the machining on this groove. I got it prepped. I'm gonna sandblast it, and that's why I put this. This is nylon, and it's just a bolt through it. So I'm just putting this to protect where the washers would go, instead of having a, you know, I don't want to blast it before. This is not heat treated. I've got it prepped for heat treat, but I'm hiding it, so I want to put those dimples and stuff in it, especially when it's not hardened. After it's hardened, I probably will go ahead and, you know, give it a swipe, and then I'll probably ream the hole. I'm ream them undersized to start with. They're like 1/1000 and 1/10 undersized, and I ream them 2 size after heat treat. Not that y'all give a shit. But I wanted to do the hidden stop pin track to kind of like get that, at least one under my belt. So I'm doing something different with this knife. That's a learning curve for me personally. A lot of it is just trying to get the equipment I got to do what I want it to do. So I'm not super happy with how this track cut. I do have an idea for moving forward, and that's why I wanted to do this one. Like moving forward, I'll probably get better at doing this hidden track thing. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up liking it. But as of right now, not my favorite method. Some DSKs do that hidden stop track too. It's just not my thing, I guess, man. Like, I guess if you're into bruisers, like overbuiltness, I guess, and over-engineered with the stop pins and, you know, heavy hardware and that sort of thing, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's inherently part of it, but it's definitely a desire for me personally to not use, like, you know, a lot of people like hate T6s that like the smaller knives. I don't want to use like anything smaller than like 1/8" pin anywhere, or excuse me, 3/16 pin anywhere in my knives. So when I use an 1/8", like I'm already like, I don't know, like I would like the pin to be at least as thick as the blade. And this blade is like 200 thou, so like that would be over 3/16, you know, for a pin. So like to me, that's why I feel warm and fuzzy. But I showed you the frame and where it's laid out. I can't make this hole that big and still have room for the detent. There's an issue there, you know, because if you see it, like, let me get the other blade back here. That shows it's plainly easier to see. You can see where the washer surface is, which is pretty much that whole inner circle there, and you see where the detent is and how the track is. If you made that wider, you're losing either washer surface or detent surface. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to remake the whole knife. So I got to kind of work with what I got. Now, when I do my own design, I got a little bit more leeway. I can stretch things out if the design will let it. But it was a learning curve. That was the whole point of me doing this one. I think that's what I'm trying to allude to. That CRK, if y'all not familiar with how the CRKs work, that detent ball is also the lock interface, right? So how am I going to lay that out to drill it? CRK does, obviously their stuff is all CNC, so it's a predetermined position, and they know what that position is. I have no clue what that position is, so even if I knew what that position was, I couldn't dial my machine into it anyhow, because I have no, you know, that machine is not that accurate. So I don't know how I'm going to do that one. So that's another challenge that I'm trying to do right now. I think it kind of goes with that whole, like, in order to get better, you have to work on your weaknesses kind of thing, and I think that's pretty much what I'm trying to do with both the designs, or all 3 of the designs I've done. I've chosen, even though they've been friends of mine, chosen models that were challenging me for whatever reason or not, and that's why I chose those models. And that's kind of what I was getting at too with the whole taking, you know, reblades on from the public. And both those guys are pretty much open to, like, hey, do whatever you want, which is really cool to me, because like it gives me motivation. It's kind of like, it inspires me to do like a little bit more of my thing on it, which I'm not like set into a style. I'm still obviously working on that, but it's, you know, it's fun to experiment with those things. Okay, where was I at? You know, we're almost at 30 minutes. So let me just go ahead and show you this one real quick. So this one was done, but you remember that the lock was slipping, right? So now it won't. I'm gonna put my hand up here just in case it does, but I'm pushing this hard as I can. It's not going nowhere. So how did I fix that? Lock bar insert. So this is my first lock bar insert. So I can't remember. I know Eon has found this, but I can't remember who else was saying that I should probably try to start doing them And when I was talking to Todd, he said that's one of the biggest things that improved his knife was starting to do lock bar inserts. This one's not heat treated yet, so it's just the steel. This 154 CM, in case you're asking. Like I know you probably don't care, but learned quite a few things on this one. So I did go around the detent. So if you look at it, it's basically inside. There's a slot here and a slot here, and that's how I cut it, basically like that. So on the inside, you can't. It's not really visible, but this detent is still in the titanium. I know a lot of the lock bar inserts will incorporate the detent in the lock bar insert. I don't particularly like that idea. And my main thing is, like, once an insert is cracked or something, or even pressed in once, like, titanium will kind of sort of spring back to where it was. So if you're putting a ball in something, like it's a hole that you're pushing a ball into, it'll kind of close back up around it. You see the stake marks where sometimes they stake it, they kind of push the titanium back around it, and it kind of cups that ball a little bit, keeps it from pulling out. So as a lesser skilled maker, like it's easier to hold the ball at the depth that you want in titanium, and this one's pretty much super easy because it was already set, than it is the steel. The other problem I've had with steel, which y'all have seen in the past, on the J-Cape that I did for somebody a while back, but I had to make a new insert and everything else, like, because that insert cracked because I went oversized and tried to do the same kind of press fit that I would on a titanium, and it cracked the shit out of that lock bar insert. So a lot of that's like what size you take it to press it to make it good enough to hold and not let go. There's a lot of figuring out to do, and I just hadn't got there yet. But anyway, the other obstacle I had, and I meant to mention it on Evan's S90, and that's one of the reasons I want to do his S90 too, is normally, working on a knife like this, you're flat. Both upper and lower parts of the scale are flat. So you can bank this knife or this titanium this side or this side and still do what you want to do. When I say bank, I mean on a surface, you're laying something down on a flat surface, so it's easy to kind of sit here and do that. With this half radius, and you're cutting the lock bar insert on the side, the flat side, how are you going to hold that in order to cut it? So it involved a little more rigging, and obviously, it was a trial and error kind of thing. I'll be happy to say that process worked out pretty well, the way I wanted to do it. And for anybody that's curious how to did it, I used cant twists to hold it onto a parallel, a 1/4 inch thick parallel. And then I used 1, 2, 3 blocks to bank the parallel so that the knife was sitting in the right position. So I can't bank on this curved surface. I had to bank on a flat surface, and that's how I made it flat, was basically upside down, clamping it to I can show you, I guess, but I'm sure y'all don't care. The other issue is where you put screws and how deep do you make the screw heads? Like, could I recess this all the way down? Would it be strong enough to hold with that thin amount of titanium and go to that steel insert? So obviously I tapped the steel insert and I did that, but if you look at it, it's kind of, one's a little higher than the other ones. Can you see that? Hopefully it's coming out in the video. I'm trying to show you in a position where, there, maybe it comes out like that. Yeah, there you go. So you kind of see it goes up with the curve of the knife, so that basically both of them are sticking out about the same amount. You can feel them with your fingers. I'm not gonna say you can't, but it's not like, they're not intrusive. They're not bad. And these are 440 screws. I'm sorry, 256 screws. So I didn't go too small. I just went to the big enough, and obviously it's working good. It's good and solid lockup. What I might end up doing, because as I work this, it's moved over a little bit. What I might do is make a slightly bigger stop pin on this one, but yeah, the lock bar insert was definitely the way to dial this one in. I'm not going to do that on all of them, but like as I move forward, I probably will start exploring with more lock bar inserts. I just kind of make life easier, because like even if you mess up the lock bar insert or go too far, or a lock face rather, you can make a longer insert to kind of compensate for that, which kind of made me think, hey, maybe we should take that knife that I did with Sharif down and try to work on that. But I was like, I just don't want to waste that much time. I'd rather just remake the whole thing, or at least that half of the frame before I did that, I guess. I don't know, 32 minutes of me, 34 minutes, wow. 34 minutes of me just sitting here bullshitting, we'll call it. Is that good enough for y'all? I think it's so. Obviously the air conditioner's running, and I got the 3 mutts in here with hanging me. So yeah, we're gonna probably be lazy today. Feels like one of those days. When it first starts getting hot, I don't know if y'all get that way. So I didn't think I was ever that way in North Carolina when I lived in North Carolina, or in Georgia for that matter, or Florida. But like when it first starts getting hot here, it goes from being so nice to freaking hot during the day that I just get lazy. I don't feel like doing nothing because I haven't adjusted that heat yet. Once I adjust to it, I'm fine with it. But if I start in the morning and work into that heat, I'm fine. Problem is, when you got a limited amount of time in the morning and you're trying to do like your workout, your walk, I got business paperwork to do, and all that stuff, try to get done so you can go play. By the time it's time to go, when I say play, I mean, in the shop. By the time I get to go to the shop or do a video, it's already hot outside. So like I just don't feel like doing nothing at this point. It is what it is, I guess. All right, 35 minutes of me just running my mouth. If y'all made it to the end, appreciate y'all. See you next weekend. And we're gonna do that MOW unboxing and looking forward to that shit. And like I said, trays will be open come Sunday. Y'all be cool. Later.